Hello, everyone. My name is Debbie DeSagoon. I'm with the Monitoring, Evaluation, and Reporting team with the Center for Immigrant and Refugee Health at the Public Health Institute. And I'm providing this very brief, high-level recording to assist the CBO and other types of entities who are subgrantees in submitting the expedited semi-annual report that was due on September 10th. So as part of your contract requirement, you are required to submit this semi-annual report within 5 days of your executed contract. So for instance, if you are a CBO subgrantee who has now an active contract as of Friday, September 27th, you have 5 days from this date. So 5 days from September 27th would be Friday, October 4th, 2024 to submit the semi-annual progress report through our online platform called Smartsheet. So this recording is to assist you in submitting that report in this very short time frame. We recognize that many organizations have not yet implemented, conducted services activities, and served participants, but there may be some organizations who have had this opportunity to do before the execution of the contract. So for many of you, a lot of the responses to these fields might be 0 or NA, but there are other programmatic open-ended questions regarding informational meetings or technical assistance meetings that you might have attended. We want to know about eligibility verification processes and other types of administrative contact information in this report that still apply. But again, we are aware that most of you have not yet served eligible RC and or RC participants. So many of the responses will still be 0, and we still ask you to submit this report. And on the last part of this report submission, you will submit the invoice. So the submission is technically for both the semi-annual report and the semi-annual invoice that would have been due on September 10th. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So again, this is a high-level, very quick Smartsheet report training for the semi-annual RC and RC report that would have been due on September 10th. But again, you will be submitting this 5 days within your executed contract date. If you are an organization who has both RC and ERC, you are required to submit this report per program. So one for RC and one for ERC on the Smartsheet platform, which I'll be going through. And just to echo again, as part of subawardees' responsibilities and requirements, this is already there noted on the statement of objectives and other contract documents that you are to provide us with required data in accordance to CDSS and ORR requirements. And these are some sample data elements that we are asking for. And again, because this is a abbreviated, very kind of fast track type of Smartsheet report training, I want to remind organizations that the full, very detailed overview of the Smartsheet reporting instructions will be provided on the technical assistance training on October 10th. So again, this is just a very abbreviated short version of that, so you can get the semi-annual report submitted along with your invoice for payments. Okay, so just a big picture overview of the types of progress reports. There are 2 types, a semi-annual progress report and a quarterly progress report. We can consider the semi-annual progress report as the longer report because it includes both quantitative and qualitative data. So there'll be questions about numbers and there'll be open-ended questions about your program that will ask you to describe in short sentences. And the quarterly progress report, it's shorter because it only includes mainly numbers. And you'll see here that another difference, and it won't pertain for this specific first semi-annual progress report, but shortly in the future for the semi-annual report, we will have 2 links because it will include the link for the main progress report submission and then a separate link for you to put summary data about participant questionnaire assessments. More to come on that during the full-on Smartsheet reporting training on October 10th. This is a schedule of the progress report due dates for the entirety of the program duration. And you'll see here that this first semi-annual report for reporting period April 1, 2024 to September 30, 2024 would have been submitted earlier at September 10th, but we know that there were delays in contract processing, so we're asking that you still submit this reports. Reports and invoices are always submitted together on the Smartsheet portal. So again, just for purposes of this kind of fast abbreviated training, we're talking about the semi-annual report that would have been due on September 10th that you're now going to complete within 5 days of contract execution. So this is just a very quick agenda of what we'll be going through. I'm going to spend some time on the Smartsheet portal homepage instructions, and I'm going to give a very high level of the major sections of Smartsheet. And just some Smartsheet basics, what is it? It's an online portal. You can think of it as a software or a program. It is accessible year-round through the link that will be provided to you on this email along with the recording. No login or password is required. Once you click on the link, you will see the reporting page. All semi-annual and quarterly progress reports, including the invoices, as I mentioned, are required to be submitted via Smartsheet on these reporting due dates. Okay, and here is the Smartsheet homepage, and I'm going to actually go ahead and exit out a PowerPoint so I can actually go into the link and walk you through how to submit the semi-annual progress report. Okay, so once you click on the link, you should see this homepage. And just in case my recording stalls, I'm going to go ahead and stop my video for a second. So this is the homepage to Smartsheet. It'll look exactly the same way when you click on it. And there is a scroll bar right here, so make sure you see both. There's 2 pages for now. I'm going to go through these instructions first before we go through the actual questions of the report that you will need to complete. So there are 4 kind of like introductory guidance paragraphs here called Introduction. The second one is titled as Assistance. The third one is an important reminder, and 3 clicks to start. So please read these 4 parts very carefully, which I'm going to also walk through verbally with you now. I'm going to go ahead and zoom so the text is a little bit larger. Okay, there you go. So again, I wanted to reiterate really the purpose of this progress report along with future quarterly progress reports. It's really designed to capture how the ERC S2S and ERC program has impacted school districts and other community-based organizations, youth, and the families for the current reporting period. So this reporting period, we will always pre-populate it for you. So for purposes of this training, we are talking about our reporting period April 1, 2024 to September 30, 2024. For assistance, this is our team email right here for the monitoring, evaluation, and reporting team, and also my direct line. As you're completing this expedited semi-annual report within 5 days of your executed contract, and you have issues or problems or concerns, feel free to give me a ring right away. I'm happy to help live and troubleshoot with you to get this report submitted as soon as possible. You'll see under this section, Assistance, that there are 4 forms titled Form 1, 2, 3, and 4. These forms are not to be completed and sent to us. These are just for you to help you prepare and track data throughout the program duration so that when it is reporting season time, you have all the data that you need to enter in easily here onto the Smartsheet platform. I'm not going to go open each one. I'll just open up one for this training's purposes. So you'll see here Form 1, it's titled as a semi-annual progress report template. This you can consider like the hard copy or the blueprint or a map of all the questions that you will need to answer on the Smartsheet portal, but it's on a hard copy form. So this you can print out, put in your binder, or keep a virtual copy with your team and continuously track the data here and take notes so that when the report is due, you have everything written down and ready just to copy and paste and reference to when you're entering into Smartsheet. So again, none of these forms are to be submitted to us. They're really for tracking and to assist you to document your plan activities for reporting. So take a look at those. A big important reminder, so all required information, it has to be entered in one sitting to successfully submit the progress report online. So your responses are actually not saved until you hit submit. So meaning you can't maybe work on it for an hour and then come back like 2 days later. You'll need to do it in one sitting. And from what I heard from other types of awardees who have already submitted the report, if they have their data already on the paper, it usually takes maybe like 15 to 25 minutes to enter in all their information if the information is already handy. So we really advise that, again, you have all the required information ready to be entered and stable internet to prevent any disruptions in the submission process. Most of the questions on the semi-annual report will be entered directly into fields, meaning you'll type in short answers, short paragraphs, sentences, and numbers, and then other parts will actually will ask you to download some attachments, complete it, and then upload it onto Smartsheet. And I'll go through those parts. Okay, so 3 clicks to start. So again, here is the home page of the Smartsheet portal. There are 3 clicks that you need to do so that you could see all the questions that you will need to complete for the semi-annual. The first question, go ahead and click semi-annual for this report. For what funds is your school receiving? Just for purposes of today, I'm going to go ahead and click RC. And again, if you are an organization has both RC and ERC, you will need to complete this twice. So you'll need to do one entire report for RC and one entire report for ERC, if you have both. And then you will click the reporting period. There's only one option here for now to make it easy for you, so go ahead and click that. So once you choose those 3 items, you will then see all the questions right here. I'm just going to scroll very quickly that you will need to complete for the semi-annual report. And I'll go through each section broadly. So let me scroll back up. Okay, so the first section here before the actual reporting fields, you'll see some general information about contact of your staff. Please go ahead and include those. If they don't apply, please go ahead and just put NA. So I'm just going to put some pretend text here. Right here for school district or CBO name, please go ahead and click your organization. If you do not see it there, please let me know as soon as possible so that we can include it. For training purposes today, I'm going to pretend I'm Access California Services. Okay, and again, I'm just going to place some pretend text here because these are mostly required fields. So if you leave them blank, it will not allow you to submit the report. So I'm just going to put pretend text here. You're going to choose the date when you completed it and a signature. So I'll put my name here as my signature. Okay. Here is a table of contents, an overview of the semi-annual progress report. I just want to make sure I'm still recording, so give me one moment. Okay, great. Still recording. Okay, wonderful. Let me just go ahead and click back here. Okay, so this is an overview of the report. Everything that you see in blue pertains to the reporting period, meaning April 1 to September 30, 2024. So the questions about program accomplishments, individual level data, any types of meetings that you attended that we led at Center for Immigrant and Refugee Health, they're really pertaining to those activities really strictly within the reporting period of April 1, 2024 to September 30, 2024. I know this is going to get kind of confusing. So the pink sections here, Section F and Section G, it's going to pertain to your program participants served. And other demographic questions and participants served by service activity category. The reason that we highlight this in pink is because we need to know these numbers not by the reporting period, but by the federal fiscal year, meaning we want to know the number of program participants by service activity category and demographics, and family members served, etc., for the federal fiscal year, which is October 1, 2023 to September 30, 2024. The reason that we have to use the federal fiscal year is how we are required to report back to our funder, to CDSS. So we definitely are aware, and we recognize that you guys have not been serving participants in October 1, 2020, F3 because you just executed your contracts now. So many of these questions for now at this time frame are going to be zero. So we understand that, but we still need to follow this federal fiscal year time frame just for those two sections. So here, that's the overview. I'm going to go through each of these sections pretty quickly just so you can familiarize yourself with them. Section A is about program staff during this reporting period. If you were able to hire staff for your programs now for RC and or ERC, or those already who have, these are established staff members, go ahead and answer this question. If this is not applicable and you guys have not started hiring, totally fine. I would just go put NA. And a lot of these questions, they might be NA, there will be zeros, and we recognize that, but we still ask you to submit this report along with your invoice. So it shouldn't take too long. Section B includes 2 open-ended questions about programs' accomplishments and challenges, and also 2 attachments. So again, if you're an organization that has been able to implement services and activities for your target population already, please go ahead and answer these questions. Even if you haven't served participants yet, but there have been some process efforts related to, say, needs assessments or hiring staff, or creating partnerships or MOUs to implement the program before actually officially serving participants, those are still milestones. So feel free to enter those in if you have been able to do those now. If not, I would go ahead and put NA here and here as well. For this question, for this section, B, there are 2 attachments. So go ahead and download these, whether or not you serve participants or not. If you have not served participants, please go ahead and download it and just put 0 and not applicable, and then you will still need to upload them at the end of this online portal. Okay, section C, eligibility verification and documentation. We're asking your process of how your team determines eligibility for RC and or ERC participants, and how do you manage documentation. So we recognize that this is a question that has already been addressed in your project narratives and other contract documents, but we are required by our funders, CDSS, to ask this once again during this semi-annual report. If there have been any changes to the eligibility verification process for your organization, write it down here. If not, go ahead and share what you have already shared with us in the project narrative. Just note that this is a kind of 2-part question. We want to know the process for eligibility verification, meaning who were the staff involved, how is the outreach conducted to these eligible participants? Is any type of hard copy outreach tools, or is this done online? Are there any other departments or other partnerships involved in the outreach and also in verifying eligibility? And the second part is, how do you manage documentation records? Where are they stored? How are they kept safely, and who has access to them? I'm moving on to section D. Please go ahead and attest that your organization is securely collecting and storing individual level data for the program. We will talk about this more during the full-on Smartsheet reporting training October 10th, but data security and protection is really important for this program because you guys are collecting a lot of sensitive information like alien ID number, immigration documents, birth dates, etc. So we want to assure just by clicking here that you are testing that you're securely collecting and storing this data. Meetings attended during this reporting period, I'm thinking that most of this will actually be zero for many of you because we just started the program. So you may not have attended office hours or community practice advisory groups. But if you are attending the Friday, September 27th CBO orientation, that does count as an informational meeting. So I would put 1 there. If you are attending, well, that would be in October. So any meetings that you've attended with us from April 1 to September 30, 2020, for that we've led, please include it here. But I would imagine most of these are 0. Okay, section F, there are two sections left. So I just wanted to flag here, this is the section where you will be entering numbers for program participants for the federal fiscal year. So I'm just going to scroll back up just so I can show you where we're at. We went through these blue sections, and again, just alerting you that section F and section G relate to the federal fiscal year. So let me scroll back down. Okay. So say for instance, I am an organization based on my approved work plan and my statement objectives. I'm going to be providing connections for basic needs support, also going to be providing youth engagement and development. And I know that our organization will be involved in service provider capacity support. Once you click whichever service activity categories your organization will provide, these questions will show up, meaning for each of these service activity categories, it will ask you the number of non-duplicated student and family participants who you served. And for service provider capacity support, any types of technical assistance, collaborative learning exchange forums that you've participated in, we want to know how many staff have been involved in those meetings, whether it was led by PHI or other types of entities. I wanted to kind of pause here and just talk about the definition for non-duplicated participants. So non-duplicated for this program means that we only count a participant once, regardless of how many times and types of activities and services they access with your organization. So say for instance, student A access connections for basic needs support in year 2 of your program, and then youth engagement and development activities in year 3. That participant is only counted once, regardless of the types of activities they access in year 2 and in year 3. And that goes the same for family member participants as well. Okay, just for purposes, so I can show you again, I will just put some pretend numbers here. So for many of you, these questions will be a 0, but again, if you had the opportunity to serve participants, please place them here. I also wanted to alert, please only enter in the number of participants for those who have already been verified for eligibility for RC and or ERC, and you have documented records of it. So say for instance, there is a community-wide outreach fair that your community-based organization held, and 100, say, students, including their family members, were outreached to. You cannot put all 100 of those numbers, only for those have been verified for eligibility. So say after that outreach fair, uh, out of the 175 of them were verified for eligibility by your staff and you have documented records of it, those are the only numbers that would count as a served, eligible, non-duplicated student participant or family member participant. And a lot of these other questions will be self-explanatory. We want to know of the number of non-duplicated eligibility verified as students you served. There are some demographic questions here. Again, if these do not apply and you do not serve any of the students as I mentioned, you're going to go ahead and put 0. So for training purposes here, I'm going to put 0 so that I could show you at the end how to submit it. These are required fields, so you see if you skip one, it'll flag you later. So I'm just going to make sure that I have 0 in all of these fields. And just put some pretend text here. Okay, I'm going to go through the last section here, which is actually the second to last section, section G and section H. For these last two questions, again, it will ask you, you've already entered it up above at some point, but we want to know for the federal fiscal year, what is the total number of non-duplicated or eligible verified students who participate in the program? I'm just going to put 0 for now. And the same question for the number of family members served. For this question, we're actually only asking the number of the adults served. The number of family members served are going to be up here. So just please know the two differences. This is number of non-duplicated immediate family members. It will include adults, parents, caregivers, siblings, grandma and grandpa. But this one is only referring to adults here. And then lastly, for any of the downloaded, completed attachments asked in the other questions above, please go ahead and attach them here at this time. And I'm just going to put a pretend attachment. You will need to check this box once the PDFs are uploaded. Even if you did not serve participants, please go ahead and complete them and put NA and 0 and check this box. And here is where you can also upload your invoice. You can just click here, browse again, upload the invoice, and then check this box. Click on send me a copy of my responses, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my email, and I'm going to click submit. So it looks like I forgot to enter in a field, so I'm just going to check what it is. So this is a good exercise because all the fields are required. So right here, it looks like I forgot to put something. So I'm putting some pretend text there, and then I'll go ahead and click submit and see if that works. Okay, so it looks like it's going to successfully submit. Again, you saw that I completed the report in one city because it doesn't save until you click submit. If you have both programs, RC and ERC, please complete a separate one for the other program. So say we completed that one for RC and I need to complete the separate semi-annual report for ERC, just click on that link and it'll provide you a fresh reporting page.